All right, we're going to wrap it up, tie it all together. Thank you so much. So just a couple closing remarks. We talked about a couple of things. For folks in the Alphabet Streets, we have these reset homes, and the next steps for us are to finalize the plans and, again, update our website so people can start to express interest on the website. We have a sign-up sheet over there, too. We're also offering, we talked about steel-framed homes. That's a product that we provide. I see my Corpus Christi classmate there, Brandon Ricard, multi-generational Palisades general contractor. They helped us with our fire rebuild. They're amazing. So we're going to be partnering with crews like Brandon. So folks already have their designs and they say, well, we're kind of interested in the metal framing because it helps with insurance and it's fire resilient. Can you partner together? Absolutely. And then obviously we have the custom home building business. But Traci Park is here, and I do want to give Traci a big round of applause. We greatly appreciate everything that you've done. Last time we spoke, you said something is very important. If you've moved, you have to
change your voter registration if you are displaced, if you want to continue voting as a Palisadian. In fact, you should go to the Secretary of State website and just confirm that no changes may have been made without your knowledge. It's up to you what you want to do about it, but I think if anybody deserves a say in what happens next in the Pacific Palisades, it's you guys. And there's some big changes and items on the ballot in 2026 that are really important. So yes. Whoever you vote for.
Well, there's so many people here. We want to give the room back to Rob and Traci's here. And I think just everyone mingle, have some fun. We're going to take questions and answers.
Quick question. For all of you, you all talked about landscaping. A few of you talked about privacy in the Alphabet Streets. Especially, we have small lots. So I'm wondering how you all are taking into account the sort of horrible new rules and regulations that are being proposed in Sacramento for the Zone 0 area around our homes.
I think we're not sure, frankly, because we don't know what it's going to be. So I think we're trying to think about that. But obviously that would have a huge impact. Those of you that live there, and I guess probably most of you, I think probably remember the beauty of the streetscape and the trees and the difference in some neighborhoods in LA and the character that the street trees bring to the place. That's a hard thing for me to want to sacrifice, but I understand that may happen and we can't control that. So I'm not sure how we're going to deal with it.
Yeah, I think adding on to what David said, I think you saw in most of the schemes that there is a acknowledgement that outdoor space is so important to our lifestyle in Southern California. The exact sort of nature of what those landscapes will look like is yet to be determined. Obviously, it's important for us as architects to work closely with garden designers and landscape architects to figure that out. So that's more to come on that subject. Yeah.
From our perspective, landscape integration, physical integration of trees into courtyard and atrium spaces is critical in our work. We're struggling with this internally because I grew up in northeastern Nevada where there are wildfires seasonally, and it's true that we should be keeping certain types of landscaping away from structures because those add to the combustible nature of these structures. Now, I think there are a lot of strategies that we can implement. One, in our specific design, is we intentionally took the garage and did not off-center it so that from a placement on the site, we can give more separation from other structures and perimeter landscaping and try to free up some of that, which is why the structure is very simple and very vertical. So I think there are strategies, but back to Traci's point, I think voting and making your opinion known, this is your community, and your voice is needed. Absolutely.
Well, I'll get you in a second. But again, what we had a house-to-house fire. If you actually go through the Palisades and you saw not every type, but most of the trees, the right type of trees, actually survived. It was the house-to-house issue. And we're coming back, but Tracy wanted to talk about an ad hoc committee.
Thanks, Rob. I'm not ready to blame the trees yet either. I'm just not there yet. I did want to make a plug, real quick announcement. On Monday at 1 o'clock, we have another meeting of the city's ad hoc committee for LA recovery, and we are taking up 3 really important issues for Palisadians. One is the waiver of plan check and permit fees. And I think for our committee members, yes, to hear directly from you why it is such a big deal. And you've given enough, and especially from folks for whom that is an actual financial hardship. I have been very clear in my position on this. For nobody is this a voluntary rebuild. This is the least our city can do. But I need your help to lobby for that position on your behalf as a community. So that is one of the items that we are going to be taking up. Another big ticket item is the potential creation of a climate resilience district for Pacific Palisades. That is one of several tax incremental financing districts I would like us to take a look at. Those are long-term investments for sustainable infrastructure, and it will capture your incremental tax increases over years as you rebuild and your property values and things like that recover. And it keeps the money in your community instead of putting it out into the general suck of the rest of LA. That is one of the other things. And then you may have heard some recent scuttlebutt about DWP collecting bills that had been deferred since January 7th. They will be there to explain their intentions and plans on that, and I am going to keep them limited to that narrow issue at committee on Monday. However, we are going to be doing a CD11 town hall with DWP to go over with you in detail plans for undergrounding the power, an update on Santa Ynez Reservoir, as well as some big water pipes under the ground, some major infrastructure work that they are going to be doing. So I'm going to be bringing them to you to walk you through all of those major issues that I know you all have questions about. I know there is widespread support for the idea of putting the power underground, but I also want folks to know there's other infrastructure that comes with that. Everybody has to have a box on their front lawn, and they're kind of ugly, and no, you can't hide them behind the bushes. You're going to have connectors that go to them. There are going to be required easements that are going to have to go with them. And so we as a community, I just want everybody to know that there are some actual, changes and other implications. So I want you to hear that directly from DWP, what we think the timeline for that is going to be, what neighborhoods and communities they think they're going to be able to do this in, and some places where it may not be feasible. So anyway, just know that is on deck. I assume all of you are following along with me and get my newsletters, but that is where we make the announcements on the time and the dates for those things. So Monday, 1 o'clock in council chambers, ad hoc committee. Come and talk to me and my colleagues about how important these permit waivers are and the long-term investments in your infrastructure. Thank you. That was the other plug I wanted to make. Thanks, Rob.
All right. We'll get this around. Unfortunately, my DWP bill burned up in my house.
Councilperson Park, thank you for being here. Rob and Matt and everybody, thank you for putting this together. I'm John. I just sort of stumbled into this, and I'm so glad that I'm here. These amazing designers have put together these incredible presentations, beautiful spaces, not just beautiful architecture, but beautiful spaces. And I've seen, both in the case study 2.0 and today, a lot of attention to atriums, courtyards, backyards, side yards. I'm here to say, let's think about the front yards, because I've lived in the ABC streets or adjacent my whole life. It's all about the front yard. It's all about the patio, the terrace, the porch, the sort of earshot of the street where your neighbors are walking back and forth with their dog or their kid. And I'd love more attention to that if we can really think about that. That's what the Palisades is about, not the backyard and the pool, in my opinion. Thank you.
It's a very good point. The Palisades has always been a frontward-facing community, kind of unlocked doors. I see my parents there. They had the Adirondack chairs, and it's a really good point and a good reminder. Anybody else? Peter.
Quick question for Chad. I understand how the metal framing is going to clearly help with insurability, fire, hardening. Could you speak to what other parts of the construction that are going to give a future homeowner more confidence that it's not going to catch fire?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there's a ton of other products now on the market that are resilient to fire, right? And nothing is going, at some point, everything melts or burns, right? So I'm not going to stand up here and say that there's going to be a fire blow through your community and your house is going to look like it did prior to the fire. But what we're doing is ensuring that the way that we're building is not going to contribute to a larger fire. So there may be instances where the fire is held at bay outside of your house because the exterior done with plaster or however these amazing architects design that. But the way that we're building it is in a way so that it doesn't add to the larger fire problem, which is why the insurance companies are backing the product that we have with a specific program and policy.
Is that an all-in cost? Does that include architectural? Just give me a sense of, for everybody here, what does that really mean? What are the total dollars we're talking about from, shovel to walk in the front door?
Yeah, so I'll speak to the cost component, and then time I know is probably the next question coming. So I'm going to ask Nicole, who's somewhere, to come up, and Nicole can speak to the kind of time aspect of it right behind me. But yeah, the detailed pricing that we put together that your fine son demanded of us, and we spent the last 6 to 8 weeks like really kind of stressing over line by line, has both soft costs and hard costs in there. So from the beautiful designs in the architecture to the structural engineering and the permitting, all the way through the build. The one thing that is not included is landscape. Again, as a lot of people mentioned, there's a lot of unknowns around landscape, and can be very kind of specific to the owner. So permit fees, we have a placeholder that we feel pretty good about that is included as well. Yeah, no furniture. If I flip the house over and it falls, we don't have that. But with what we've put together on the shell and core, we've created a lot of great economy of scale, and we've had some incredible buy-in from manufacturers and suppliers kind of across LA, the state, and kind of the nation that have really kind of bought into the program, that want to be a part of solving this and helping us. So we're getting some really smoking deals kind of across the board. That's really exciting, and we feel like we're going to be as competitive as everyone, and provide a beautiful product. So that's what's included in the baseline pricing. I'm going to have Nicole speak to time.
Hi guys, my name is Nicole. So in terms of time frame, we're really looking at something around 18 months, and we're projecting this because the time frame really consists of two phases, right? You've got your pre-construction and your construction side, and pre-construction can typically run between 4 and 8 months. So Reset's next step is really to get the plans that you saw here today into the City of LA for approval as a standard plan. And we're working closely with Crest, who's here today, to help engage the city to adopt that policy of a standard plan process. Our goal is really to take this 4 to 8 months for pre-construction and bring it down to about 2. That's really our goal. With construction, as you've heard here today, Reset established a specific set of parameters that we had our designers and engineers adhere to. And these parameters really help standardize additional efficiency by stacking plumbing, adhering to that 4-foot grid, and the use of repeatable materials. So these initial efficiencies that we've kind of stuck to have really helped bring that time frame closer to about 18 months. And we really are working to improve that. We know this is important to all of you.
So you were saying that all of these designs would work with the same sheeting that you were displaying?
Sorry, say that one more time.
All of the different designs would work with the sheeting?
The steel frame.
The steel frame.
Yes, exactly. So all the frames you see up here today and the proposals that were put together were designed to our specific parameter that we provided these architects. Which again, as Takashi mentioned, was beautiful to see, kind of everyone adopt these parameters. and adhere to them and kind of really, really help us drive down the cost and the timeline. So
Hi, thank you for this. When this gets decided, it's not a bad idea to approach building and safety and show them what you've got so that it's not repeated every time. You know, there's a standard established, they approve it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Will you please do that for us, Arpy?
Here, here. John just said yes.
Okay, I just had a quick question. Can you talk about customization a little bit? And what's the process? What will that be like?
Look, the program was meant to have really strict parameters, and those strict parameters really drive our cost and our time. So the building envelope of all 4 designs is really sacred to kind of ensure that you hit that time and budget. Now, all customization is possible. You know, it just kind of puts you in a different bucket. You also have to get the buy-in of these fine architects to kind of agree to it if you are trying to expand or modify the building envelope. Everything inside the home, from kind of a fit and finish standpoint, is very, or is easier to adjust and kind of customize on the fly. You know, we certainly understand that people have kind of different buckets of insurance coming to them and kind of different lifestyles that kind of drive their finishes. So that is easy to accommodate, and we have kind of a lunch menu built in to give people options to customize and make it their own. The building envelope and increasing the square footage, you know, is where it gets trickier, and it's more case by case.
Could you clarify whether the cost includes the site work and the foundation?
Yes, it does. On a flat lot. Again, this was designed for the Alphabet Streets. So thank you so much. We want to give the room back to Rob, and I cannot stress enough, Rob, you are such a leader. You're the beacon. You started this, but no, Dara, Tony, the whole crew, I've been coming here on Fridays. It's healthy. It's good to come here. It's good to talk to your neighbors and see what the heck is going on, who the leaders are, who are the doers, because it's infectious.
And guess what? This is the time, and the theme has to be BBB, build it back better. This is the time for us. Never has this kind of a community, with the gifts that we have been giving, with the ocean and the mountains and everything, never has it had a clean slate like this. So if we don't take advantage of this, and if we don't make something incredibly special that the rest of the world looks to, and yes, speed's important, and we get speed, but I don't want the mantra to be, yeah, got it back real quick. I want the mantra to be, look at what we created, and look what is possible. And that's the challenge, and we're up to it. Right? We're up to it. So let's all step our game up and let's go make this shit happen. All right.
Thank you so much.